Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another book club. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Trevor. Say hi, Trevor.
Hi.
We're back with JoJolion. We're back with JoJolion.
We're back with Demon Slayer.
That's so true. So, today's episode, we got two arcs to talk, kind of three. I don't know. Morioh 1901 is basically in Shakedown Street. So, kind of two, kind of three arcs to talk about. We got Going Underground and Shakedown Street. Overall, Trevor, what do you think of these two arcs?
Oh, shit, honestly, I don't remember.
That's so true. True.
I gotta think through everything that we saw. We saw the introduction of Paisley Park. Only I don't think the name of the stand has been said yet. I just know that that's the name of the stand because
it was in the title.
Yeah.
It was born this way in Paisley. Yeah, it was born this way in Paisley Park.
Oh, okay.
Born this way, but not Paisley Park. Yeah. So, the highlights of Born This Way, right? Because we can go ahead and talk about Born This Way. Fun fact: originally, like in the original release, its name was Going Underground, which is why on K's hat, it's they have a GU because it's going underground. But it was later changed to Born This Way. I don't know why. So that's why you'll hear me and Kyle sometimes refer to it as Going Underground, just to be funny. At the beginning of this arc is whenever we got the reveal. We got to see the Higashikata family tree, and we got to see the Joestar family tree. This is the big thing for Born This Way, right? What do you think of the Joestar family tree?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty similar to what it is in reality. I mean, you've got Jonathan, then George, then Joseph, then Holly, and then you have Jotaro Kujo,
yeah,
aka Yoshikage Kira.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, so Yoshikage Kira is Jotaro, and then also you learn Kei is Kira's sister, and so then you're like, oh, so Kei is also Jotaro. And so that's where the funny meme of, oh, Jotaro, how come Araki made you a cute maid girl in the SBR verse? Because Kei is also kind of the Jotaro equivalent. This is where, in JoJolion, the idea of direct equivalence with the same name gets kind of difficult. Because you have Yoshikage Kira, who's Jotaro Kujo. And you also have Kei Nijimura, who's also Jotaro Kujo. And you also have Josuke Higashikata, who's also Jotaro Kujo. So there's some complications here, as you can tell. It's not as straightforward as it was in Steel Ball Run, where you had, oh, it's Johnny Joestar, he's Jonathan. No, you got Diego Brando, it's Dio. You got Lucy Pendleton. That's Erina. But then Erina is also a special case because then you have Rina Higashikata. And it's like, oh, Rina Higashikata. Oh, well, she's also a Rina and Erina equivalent. Because it's like, oh, well, she married Johnny and then they had George together, you know? Yeah, no, I think that the reveal that Yoshikage Kira is not only a Joestar but is Jotaro, basically, is one of the coolest, if not the coolest, reveals of this little part. The only other reveal, like of Born This Way, whenever I say that, because with Born This Way, you also get to see, a funny little stand with Kira. We get to see Kira stand for a panel. What do you think of that?
Do we get to see that?
Yeah.
Do you get to see that in this? I don't remember exactly where it was.
It's Killer Queen.
It's
Killer Queen.
I'm sorry, who? You mean Deadly Queen?
Yeah, dude. It's Killer Queen, dude. We're reading JoJolion, dude. It's Deadly Queen in part 4. It's Killer Queen now.
Actually, it is an unnamed stand.
Oh, sorry, unnamed stand.
Yeah.
Pink cat, I guess.
Yeah.
Deadly Monarch, Poisonous Monarch.
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah, so not only is funny Yoshikage Kira man Jotaro Kujo, but he also has
who is also Josuke Higashikata.
Yeah, who's also
Yeah.
Josuke Higashikata. Because also in Born This Way, you have, so him and Kei fight. He doesn't know it's Kei. So basically, he's being chased by this stand on a motorcycle who follows him around. And he's being guided by his phone, which we find out is Paisley Park, telling him where to go, how to go safely. Born This Way, the secret of the stand is whenever something is opened, it can attack. And so that thing has to be closed. It's a bike. It has freezing winds. It's a neat little stand fight. I mean, I enjoyed it. And then we get him confronting Kei, and then she's like, "Oh, boo-hoo, yada yada, all that stuff. I'm not going to let you go near my mom." And he's like, "Fine, I won't do it. That's whatever." He was trying to meet up with Yasuho. That didn't happen. And then he's like, "Look, who am I?" Right? And Kei was like, "Oh, well, they found Kira here, right? They found my brother here. Look, let me show you this." And they go there, right? And she buries a lemon and a tangerine, right? She buries them in the sand, pulls them back out, and the parts are switched around. That's probably the most iconic JoJolion panel, with Kei holding the lemon and the tangerine, because as you could probably guess, that's a tiny bit important to the story and Josuke as a character. It may be a tiny little bit important there. It's probably the most iconic panel in JoJolion. But then you get Josuke being like, "Well, then who am I?" So then it's the reveal of, oh, well, Josuke is half Kira. So Josuke is half Yoshikage Kira and half someone else. We don't know who yet. I mean, I know who, but you don't know who. But Josuke is half Kira, half someone else. So that's pretty. What did you think of that little reveal?
I was like, dude, no freaking way, no freaking way.
Dude, Yoshikage Kira is the protagonist? That's awesome.
Yeah. But another thing, the thing that I thought was cooler in this arc, right, was that we see that soft and wet is the combination of Killer Queen and the other half of Josuke's, like the original person's. It's the other half of his stand.
Yeah.
It's his other half's stand. And he gets the soap bubble thing from Deadly Queen. Which means Deadly Queen is kind of already like Deadly Queen plus Stray Cat.
That's true.
So I mean, this Deadly Queen might inherently be stronger than Deadly Queen. I keep saying Deadly Queen. This Killer Queen
I thought it was a
be
bit.
Stronger than. No, it's just because it's what I'm used to saying. Yeah, but this Killer Queen might actually be stronger than Killer Queen from Part 4 if it also had the funny bomb type 2. The I look over here.
Kochiomido. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, won't it? It'll be interesting to see what the other stand was. Who's the other person? Yeah. That's the big question right now, I think. Of who's the other person. We've read through I Am a Rock. We will be discussing I Am a Rock and Paper Moon King in the next video. We've read through I Am a Rock.
Yes.
Yotsuyu seemed to know something. He seemed to have known something, but we'll get there when we get there. So Born This Way, pretty solid. I enjoy it. It's a fun little automatic stand chase down arc. Cool. It's fun. I like Kei. She's cool. We got some really cool reveals in there with Yoshikage Kira and Josuke and kind of where he comes from and all that. And then the next arc you have is Shakedown Street, where the basic premise of it is Nodisuke is like, okay, Josuke, you're going to school. Joshu, take him to school with you. And they go down Shakedown Street because it's a shorter way. I can't remember exactly why they go down Shakedown Street. But they go down Shakedown Street, right? What do you think overall of Shakedown Street, not counting Morioh 1901? Because we'll talk about Morioh 1901 separately. So I guess it is three things we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting, step up on the system of stands, right? Because in technically in part 3 we get to see that not just humans can have stands, but so can animals. And then that is shown further in part 4. The rats.
Yeah.
And then here in part 6 we're shown that even plants can have stands.
Funny leaves. Le folla. Funny leaf stand. It's spinning. That's odd. But yeah, so Shakedown Street is the ginkgo leaves. They have a stand, right? And they zoom you around, and like you'll do stuff you don't even realize you do stuff. And so like you like step on a baby's head and crush it or something. You're like break a fish tank, or you like step on a phone or something, right? That kind of stuff. You don't realize that the people have like proof that you did it, because you did technically do it. You just didn't know that you did it because of the leaves. And then they get money from you, and a couple people try to extort Josuke and Joshu. And eventually these guys are like, hey, give this package to this lady over here. And it's like, uh-oh, is that a Part 5 reference? There seems to be drugs in here. If Giorno was here, he would not put up for that kind of behavior. And so they go over there, but then like they switch it on them, and like the police are coming over, and then Joshu gets away with the money, and we get to see his stand, Nut King Call, which is another example of a stand that changes like a name. So like Nut King Call won't have to be changed, because like that's like it's not Nat King Cole. It's Nut King Call. Funny. And then you have they get away, and then Josuke stole the money from Joshu using the leaves, and they all use the leaves. Yada yada. It's a pretty fun arc. It's a cool little arc. It gets cooler, I think, after Morioh 1901, whenever you learn the origins of the little leaf stand. So, Morioh 1901. In case you didn't know, Trevor, this chapter is kind of important to the story. So, overall, what do you think? The death of Johnny Joestar.
It was tragic. It truly is a shame that he lived for a whole like 10 years after SBR. And then he died. I was like, that's a massive L. Yeah,
I think I told you this whenever I was first reading it to JoJolion, and I got to Born This Way. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Johnny didn't die at the end of his part. Like, he got to live like a full life with his wife. I was like, that's awesome. And I got to Morioh 1901. I was like, oh no, he didn't. But yeah, Morioh 1901 is a little bit important to the plot, right? We have Johnny married Rina Higashikata, who was on the boat with him at the end of Steel Ball Run. And they travel together, and they're like, oh, haha, we're gonna get married. Then they get married, and then Johnny is like a horse tamer in Japan. And they have a kid or two together. But then Rina gets sick with a certain rock disease. That's odd. And Johnny's like, oh, well, I know that there's something that can cure this. And so he goes and gets the holy corpse from America. So he steals it, brings it over to Japan, uses it to cure his wife. But in a bizarre twist of fate, one could say, the disease could have gone to anyone in the world at any point in time ever. It goes to his son. That's kind of whack. That's kind of calamitous, one might say. One might call that even a calamity. And so then Johnny's like, he feels
calamity like in The Legend of Zelda.
That's so true.
Dude,
that's so true. Dude, is Matthew Mercer gonna voice Johnny Joestar? They should get Matthew Mercer to voice Josuke. In the dub,
I mean, speaking of the voice actors, right? I mean, I hope for the ones that are like exact, like perfect parallels, even in name, they get the same voice actor. So
in all the games, Diego is voiced by Dio's voice actor.
Okay, yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
I hope
Johnny does have a different voice actor in the games. Gyro is Gyro.
Yeah, I mean, Gyro's a different person.
For Josuke, I don't know. Just because of who Josuke is, it is. You can't call him
not the same thing as Josuke Higashikata.
You can't call. He's not the same as Josuke. Just the same as Yoshikage Kira isn't the same as Yoshikage Kira. They're two very different people.
But Kira and Kira do seem to have more similarities than Josuke and Josuke.
Yeah. For one, we never see Josuke's hair. Lol. Josuke's hair is kind of a big thing in part 5. That's so true. Josuke's hair is a huge thing in part 5. That's so true. But yeah. So there's one big difference. But yeah, so with Morioh 1901, so it goes to his son, right? That's kind of calamitous. And then he feels remorse for using the corpse because he's like, he knows the power. He's seen it. The misfortune goes somewhere else, right? It's the equivalent exchange as it's being worded now. It's the equivalent exchange. So they are granted fortune. Someone else is granted misfortune. Oh, well, sucks to suck, right? So, and then he's like, I'm not going to use the corpse again. He goes, I'm going to do, he's like, that was awful. He said, I'll never do that again. So what he does is he gets George on his horse, right? He's running with him, gets up to the horse's natural speed. And he's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do, right? He said, one more. He said, I know where this is going, right? He said, this is my fault, right? So he performs one more equivalent exchange. And then as the exchange is happening, he uses Act 4 to try and shoot the disease as it's leaving George, right? But then, guess who the disease went on to of anyone it could have ever? Johnny. Now, Johnny knew this was going to happen after it happened to George, right? He knew that this was going to happen. Then it happens. Act 4 finds its mark, shoots Johnny, and then goes on to hit the ginkgo leaves, right? Where it gives them the stand Lefoya, which then whenever Johnny falls off his horse, he has the rock disease now because it went off of his son. The stand autumn leaves go and cause the rock to slip and fall onto his head, crushing it and killing him. And that's the death of Johnny Joestar. What a calamitous series of events, one could say. One could say that this was a Legend of Zelda series of events that led to the death of Johnny Joestar.
It's so true.
But yeah, so you have, in the modern day, there's a little statue there of him, right? And you have the old man from earlier in Shakedown Street telling Josuke all of this. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. It's a neat little story, right? This is it's a pretty important arc, you could say. It's pretty important. I quite like it. And then after that, we get to see Yasuho, and she's reading in the newspaper about something, and then she's dragged underground. She's going underground with a little hand that pulls her underground. And then that was this section. So, overall, Trevor, what do you think on this section? Now we've gone over a little bit.
It was good. It had its sad parts. It had its happy parts.
Yeah.
Saddest of which being
that Josuke and Yasuho still haven't seen each other since the very beginning of JoJolion.
Yeah. But then you have that one time when Josuke made a lot of money. That was pretty cool.
He did. Dude, he's getting filthy rich in the subtropical islands. That's crazy. Yeah. I knew there would be a JoJo eventually who was like, this is the story of me getting filthy rich in the subtropical islands, and I'm not apologizing for it. I just knew there would be a JoJo who did that eventually. I just knew there would be.
It'll happen, dude. It'll happen.
Dude, it literally just happened, bro. Dude, they're literally in Japan, and that's subtropical, and Josuke made a lot of money.
Exactly.
It's already happened. I knew it was going to happen, dude. I knew it was going to happen someday. But yeah, I like this little section. It's solid. Born This Way is solid. Shakedown Street is solid. Born This Way, you have some very iconic JoJolion moments, like the Kei pulling out the lemon and the tangerine, and then you have funny Yoshikage Kira is Jotaro Kujo. And then you have Morioh 1901, which is a very important piece of the story. And it's a good little section. And so next time we will be talking about Paper Moon King and I Am a Rock, which are both very interesting. I quite like them both. So with all this said, if you're this far in the video, obviously there's something you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us how much you enjoyed Morioh 1901. Or which one of the three you enjoyed the most. I don't know. It's going to be Morioh 1901, but and I don't know if video's coming out next because I don't know when this is going up. See you all then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.